You know, I heard Lewis Black, comedian once, talking about how people get aneurysms.
Okay.
And, oh, I just don't remember his joke, but my head hurts. Guys, bottom left-hand corner.
What was...
Dignitas has got to pull it together here. Currently down 3-0. ZVZ is going to be the matchup because this is the orange player, orange Zerg player, Killer. Killer facing off against top right. Has currently scored up 3 wins for her team. From Team Acer, it is Scarlet, who, as you have just so kindly pointed out, Kevin,
is 10 pooling. No, I'm sorry. That was just hilarious at the beginning. You're like, the comedian Lewis Black. Something about aneurysms. I forget the rest. My head hurts. Like that. Anyway. Yeah, 10 pool to begin things. 10 pool, we saw Hyun do this plenty of times. He actually does this against Pro Dust players, this variety. Double extractor trick afterwards. So you have a good bit of economy. And you can choose to just make a bunch of Zerglings afterwards. You can actually pull drones with this too and drop down a spine crawler or attempt to. Now, thankfully for Killer, he is going for a pool first, not a hatch first. He'd gone for a hatch first. He'd actually be as dead as Bling was in the last game.
Or as dead in that TVC with Happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bush, I just really need to go see that game. That's going to be the first thing I do after this cast. It'll be a little bit late by that point, but, you know, all right. Anyhow, Zerglings now inbound with a rally point at least. There we go. Now they've started moving. That grammar. Guys, Killer, he's, well, coming in with the Overlord right now. Should be scouting this. He's actually going to scout this, like, perfectly in time, as long as he doesn't turn around. Because he didn't actually see the, oh, he saw a new Zergling spawn. So that's it. Now he knows he has to make links.
Yeah, and now he sees everything, so he knows exactly what's going on. Links are popping up. They should arrive just in time to ward these away. Scarlet, of course, going for her next hatchery now. She is a little bit behind on workers, and as long as Killer doesn't take any significant damage right here, then he's actually going to be pretty far ahead in this game.
Kevin, I was like squinting at the mini-map looking at the Zerglings, and then I realized you thought I was talking about the Overlord in the middle of the map. Killer is talking about these Zerglings right now.
Yeah.
4 of them against 6. That's not a fight he can win. So he brings some drones, and then 2 more Zerglings arrive, so that's just lost mining time. That does him no good. But here we go. This might be a fight he can take.
Wow, he's not engaging quite yet, though. And Scarlet actually gets a pretty good engagement here. How many links does she have left? 6 of them. Starting to go down a little bit here, but she has taken out all but one of the Zerglings. Gets them all. Did she kill any workers? Looks like 1. She killed 1 worker there in addition to keeping her Zerglings alive and doing about 30% damage to this hatchery and denying mining time. So after all is said and done, she's actually going to be slightly ahead in overall worker count. She's going to be behind in her hatchery timing, and she's going to be... Does she already have a queen up? I hope so. Yeah, okay, so she's going to be about even on queens.
Well, so 58 gas. Looks like both players are actually getting some gas right now. And Killer, I'm looking for a second queen, and it's actually, okay, it's being made in the main, that's why. So there's our 2 queens for Killer. He's really going to be able to ramp up production here in a moment. Yeah, he's got his Overlord popping out and everything, so really, really nicely lined up here for Killer. Scarlet, on the other hand, you know, only 1 queen right now, and they're starting the Overlord at this point. Definitely going to be a little bit behind in a minute or 2 here with all the drones popping out for Killer.
Now, Killer's making a few additional lings, and Scarlet has not started a second queen through the whole process. Does she have one queued up? She's just supply blocked? No, not yet. That's why I'm wondering, yeah, 10 lings are popping out now. We may just be seeing a giant speedling all in from Scarlet.
Well, Killer's actually going to be super prepared for this because Killer's going for the same thing. 12 lings on the way for Killer. Both of these players' speeds are actually like neck and neck. It's a photo finish, but it's already predetermined who's going to win the race.
Yeah.
But it is only going to be by a mere 5 seconds. Those could be all the difference in the world, though, Kevin, if they meet out in the middle of the map.
All right, well, Killer starting to stage up his forces. What are our Zergling counts at? 19 to 18 with basically equal amounts on the way. So this is really going to be a test of micro. I mean, whoever wins this, they're not necessarily going to win the game because they could fight themselves down to such a standstill that we just slowly start to macro our way out of it.
And decision-making.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. Uh-oh, and that is the big difference here. Is Killer putting up 7 more drones right now, and Scarlet has not stopped making lings at all.
All right, here comes the engagement. Killer cannot engage this army. He needs to go for a counterattack and force Scarlet to go home. If he can do that, he'll have time to prepare at home. He just dropped a Baneling Nest right now, and he'll be able to capitalize on the advantage those 7 drones are going to offer. Instead, he's running home. He can't win at home. There's no spine crawler. The Baneling Nest is too far away. He's just starting up 8 lings right now. This is looking really dangerous for Killer.
All right, well, here's the engagements, and we'll see who can get the better fight on this. Killer initially had a pretty decent one, but Scarlet has more units here in the battle. Look how many lings she has left over. She's even killing the ones that are just popping out right now. All these drones are on hold position to protect the queen. Very nice move there, but it's not going to matter as it looks like there's enough lings that this queen is still actually going to die, and with it, a lot of these workers may actually go down too.
Killer really just needed to, I mean, a counterattack would have pulled Scarlet home. Maybe he would have been able to run around in circles, wait for that Baneling Nest. Yes, he would have lost a lot of lings, but the Baneling tech could have saved him the day. Now, Killer standing like he's going to lose this hatchery. We'll see if he can buy himself just a little bit of time. He's got 3 Banelings almost out here, Kevin.
Yeah, they're actually morphing right next to the hatchery, and it looks like Killer's trying to pull Scarlet right back into that, but she's not biting for now. She sees the Banelings, though, and is going to duck out. She's got her own Baneling Nest coming up, and after all is said and done, a huge unit advantage for Scarlet, but workers are pretty even.
And a small tech advantage for the moment for Killer, but actually, yeah, Baneling Nest 3/4 of the way done, so it looks like Scarlet's going to be just in an awesome spot here, because these lings are actually going to be super useful later if she doesn't decide to try to kill Killer right now, which is what she's going for.
Yeah, it's very possible. She's going to back up now from these Banelings. Killer will actually pick up on the fact that the Banelings are morphing in. Ooh, and let's see if these Banelings get up in time. 3 Banelings for 6. That was a really nice advantage for Killer, but he doesn't have a whole lot left over. With these Banelings, it may just be enough, though. So Scarlet, even though she's up in overall supply, and she's actually going to be ahead another 10 workers here in a second, and still has a superior army on the map, and she's taken out 2 of her opponent's Banelings, this is not looking too bad for her.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Here's the thing. Killer keeps trading Banelings that are already made for Banelings that aren't yet made. That's refunding Scarlet's gas, and Killer doesn't get any of that back. So Scarlet's just able to continue making these Banelings. I mean, here comes some now. They don't want to pop on Broodlings, of course, but oh, this is just not good for Killer. There we go. Not a bad Baneling pop for once for Killer there.
But he loses his hatchery.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that Scarlet now on 2 base versus her opponent's 1 base, and she's sitting back, making roaches, going to lair, and she pretty much has control of the game. Killer's going to need to move in and try and do something. Almost loses another Baneling there, and if he can't, that is actually just going to be it. Scarlet just needs to make a few roaches and protect behind these spine crawlers against any sort of an eventual all-in.
Early game ZVZ, there's nothing safer than Roach Bane. We actually saw, I know Destiny for a long time, he actually just tried to force, you know, he can be very stubborn when it comes to this build order will work, and he just tried forever to make Roach Bane on 1 base, this super safe opening where he could just drone and made like 3 roaches and 2 Banelings and was safe from anything, and he actually was. Because like, lings just can't come in and deal with Roach Bane, and as long as you have good scouting, you can see if your opponent's trying to go for their own roaches, but yeah, let's just say in this game, Killer, I mean, it was when he had less lings, he had to go for a counter. He couldn't go home and defend. He couldn't win that fight. And now he might lose the game.
And now he sees roaches. He got up there. He saw that there were 5 roaches. He immediately turns around and goes home. He's trying to put up a spire as a way to go around this. But the problem is, Scarlet's already picked up on it. There's the well played. Killer is down, and Scarlet is 1 game away from all killing Dignitas.
Quite a game there, Kevin. Scarlet looking, I mean, increasingly impressive, actually, in her ability to not only anticipate what her opponents are doing, but also to react to them appropriately. You know, game 1, it was like, I see what you're doing. I didn't prepare for it all that well. My infestors are really late. I'm kind of just battling it with happenstance, lings and roaches here, but it's gotten continually better every match. Yeah,
and, you know, Scarlet's been able to adapt to multiple matchups, too. She was able to execute a pretty cool 10-pool into a big speedling all-in and actually did economic damage and press the advantage, so she's just really on top of her game right now. Now, she's going to have to go up against the final player from Team Dignitas. That's going to be Johnny Recco, guy who's kind of splashed onto the scene recently, and yeah, I mean, it's all down to this, though. Johnny Recco actually has to, and wow, would that make for kind of a weird reverse all-kill, because it would have to be all ZVZs. Johnny Recco's a Zerg player.
All right, guys, well, we'll be moving into that match shortly. Quick commercial break coming at you, and we'll see if things clean up with an all-kill from Scarlet or if Johnny Recco can turn the tides.